Today I will be talking about the top 25 films of 2025 per my personal opinion. Some honorable mentions. Wake Up Dead Man. Really good movie. Really good movie. Check it out. Black Bag. Good ass movie. Definitely check out Black Bag. The Phoenician Scheme, to be honest. Dogman. Dogman was fun. And lastly, Bring Them Down. Yeah, those are some films that I really enjoyed, but they weren't quite in the love list. Yeah. Yeah, man. Let's have a great time. Let's reflect on last year as we enter the awards season. Golden Globes just happened. Oscars around the corner type shit. You know what I'm saying, bro? Let's enjoy ourselves. Let's reflect on the films we loved. Maybe you're going to look at this list and go, that list is trash. All those movies are ass. I hated them. My favorite movie of the year was fucking The Running Man. I don't know. Maybe that will happen. And if that happens, honestly, that's great. Let me know in the comments. Subscribe for upcoming movie content that I'm going to be making in light of awards season and the movies coming out this year and blah, 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 blah type shit. But yeah, make sure you enjoy yourself first and foremost. You can subscribe, you can like the video, comment, but make sure you're entertained. You're comfortable, you're relaxed. Get some snacks, and let's enjoy the show. At number 25 on my list is 28 Years Later. This is a pretty great legacy sequel. In retrospect, this is kind of what it's all about. This thing is audacious, it's explosive, it's unrelenting, and it's also a really tender reintroduction to this universe with characters that have a lot of nuance and pain. The character dynamics are really compelling here, and just the filmmaking on display is like fucking frenetic, man. This thing is a blast. This thing's got a damn pulse, and it has a very exciting final 10 seconds. Number 24 is Pillion, dude. What a great film. Really endearing, heartwarming rom-com about a boy figuring himself out, learning what he's into sexually. It plays at the taboo areas of that conversation really smartly. Lead character played by Harry Melling, he's so fucking precious. And this thing's also really funny, beautifully edited, just a really clean, well-executed ass movie. Number 23 is Highest to Lowest by Spike Lee. Now, a lot of people don't like this movie. When it came out, I was seeing a lot of like, well, what the fuck, what's happened to Spike Lee? Oh my god, this movie's ass. When I was watching this movie the first like 30 minutes, I was thinking like, what the hell's happening? This is really amateurish. That was the word I kept thinking in the first 30 minutes. But then something happened, something clicked in my brain. I sort of attuned myself to the frequency this film was operating on. And this thing has like a heightened, fantastical excess kind of vibe to it. This like luxurious excess. It's really goofy. The kind of montage music video style editing, the music's really like ridiculous. I don't know what happened. It just sort of clicked. I was like, I'm with it. I see what they're doing, and it's fucking awesome. I think it's really easy to come away from the film thinking it's like a piece of shit. I would not defend this movie to anybody. Fair enough if you don't like it, but man, I was so on board with this movie. This shit ruled. Yeah, that's my number 23. Number 22 is Die My Love, directed by Lynn Ramsey, an explosive, suffocating take on postnatal depression and motherhood. It's definitely a pretty harrowing indictment of what parenting could do to a soul. Yeah, I love how uncompromising Lynn Ramsey is as a filmmaker. She always has been, and here she's really taken that to the extreme with a watch that's really challenging. I was incredibly engaged every moment of this film. I was eager to see what it had in store, you know, with the next scene. Great performances. The lead performance from Jennifer Lawrence is out of control good. Yeah, this is a great film, man. Number 21 is Harvest. One of the most well fucking shot movies of the year. Sean Price Williams is silly with it. Incredibly shot movie, really grungy, gritty, naturalistic film about a humble village that isn't mapped on the globe getting kind of gentrified and commodified. And I think it's a film that's really about the personality and identity and humanity of things getting wheedled out and that spark being lost. You know, the lead character in this film is pretty unlikable, but he knows what really matters and he's fighting for it. He doesn't want to see the small thing he calls home get destroyed, and that anger comes out in a very frustrating and ugly way in this movie. I think it's a great film. Wonderful, immersive, patient filmmaking. I think this thing is pretty excellent stuff. Number 20, we're in the top 20 now. Number 20 is Ryan Coogler's Sinners. I remember my mid-year list video. It had like 3 films in it. One of them was Sinners. And Sinners was like the first one. It was like, okay, finally, we're getting some fucking juice, man. Like, Sinners had some real sauce to it. It kind of married Ryan Coogler's brand of Marvel adjacent blockbuster cinema with an incredibly heartfelt, culturally powerful story at the helm of it. The world building and character power dynamics were really fascinating. I loved the first hour of this movie. I thought it was incredible. I loved the conversations and just the things that weren't being said, you know. You could argue the film gets a little bit cheesy later on when it enters action mode. That was not as interesting to me, but it was still a fun ass time at the movies. At every given moment, this thing is fun as hell to watch. Stakes are high. Stakes are high. Great performances. Miles Caton, man, one of my favorite performances of the year from him, to be honest. Michael B. Jordan as well, bro. Incredible. I'm pissed I didn't mention both of them in my video about the best performances of the year. Whoops. Incredible cinematography and music to that scene. You know the one, baby. I lied to you. Oh my god, that scene was crazy. One of the best scenes of the year. Number 19, a much smaller film, Left-Handed Girl. A slice of life drama about a young girl trying to sort of find her footing in capitalist Taiwan, pretty much. It's kind of one desperate climb out of the deep end after another with this one, and it's extremely entertaining. It's really fast paced. It just keeps kind of barreling along. It's like a Safdie film in the way it just sort of keeps moving, but without the unrelenting anxiousness. Even though this film can get pretty gritty, there's a fair amount of wholesomeness at the center of it as well. So yeah, that's a good one. Number 18 is Mickey. I could have been 17. It was one away from that. Would have been fucking hilarious, man. Mickey 17 at number 18. I think this film is cartoonish and insane and absurdist. And I know a lot of people think it's it's too on the yeah, it's too on the nose. That's like saying a Pixar movie's too animated. That's not a good comparison. But no, yeah, it's on the nose, because I think this film is trying to paint America and the Western world as ridiculous, because that's what any critical thinking human being in the Eastern world would fucking think, bro. This is cartoonish and silly in a way that could only ever come from an East Asian director, and it's fucking delightful. Unbelievable set design work. The construction of this world, the kind of gray, cold, alien feel of it is awesome. It looks so great. I feel like that's not gotten enough praise. And Robert Pattinson hasn't gotten enough fucking praise. His performance is insane in this movie. I would like more films of this budget to be this just wacko mode. It's really great. Number 17 is Lurker, starring Theodore Pellerin and Archie Madegui, directed by Alex Russell. This thing is uncomfortable. This thing is... that one scene where, she goes, "Where's your boy?" He's like, "I thought he was with you." Huh. Weird. "I thought he was with you." That was so cringe, bro. It's a film about a stalker. He's obsessed with the singer and he tries to infiltrate his group. And it's a film really about that awkward space between small talk and pretending and manipulating that space to your own will. And the eeriest part is just the looks that Theodore Pellerin has in this movie, where you can tell he is just trying to assess and see what he can extract from all of this, and this is all he's completely consumed by this, and it's just such an eerie thing when you think about how easy it is for seeds like this to be planted in someone's mind. Given the overexposure we have to celebrities and actors and stuff like that, these parasocial relationships can really become something awful, and Lurker is sort of an imagined scenario of like the worst case scenario. Number 16 is The Ballad of Wallace Island, directed by, I don't fucking know. It stars Tim Key, Carey Mulligan, and that guy. Incredibly beautiful, small, again, slice of life kind of movie about a man who is sort of lonely, broken, and stuck, replaying his past over and over again, unable to kind of move on. Tim Key's performance is incredibly layered and sensitive. I loved it so much. It's also just one of the fucking most hilarious movies. Tim Key's performance is really fun. All the little offhand quips, awkward little gestures he does, I find them so funny. Would love to watch this again. Number 15 is Weapons, directed by Zach Cregger. Pretty exhilarating time at the movies, in my opinion. This thing was awesome. This thing is really fun to watch unfold. It did kind of wear off me on a second watch, actually, just because I think the power of this film really does live in the initial watch. The hook is so hooky, the fucking central conceit of the kids running at this one time. That mystery is powerful, and the way it doles out this mystery is really exciting. I love the Magnolia-inspired approach to it. I thought it was really effective. It's playful. That's what I love about Zach Cregger, is he's unpredictable. He's really playful with it. This thing is unafraid to super go there with the gross out moments, with the wacky ass concepts. This thing is just conceptually really, really exciting to watch. One of the freshest horror movies I've seen in a bit. This one really lit a fire under my ass, and great performances all around too, to boot. Just full of character, full of individuality. Will not be shocked at all if this goes down as a defining horror film of the 2020s. Number 14 is Begonia, Yorgos Lanthimos' Begonia. Fantastic movie, fantastic acting in this movie from Jesse Plemons and Emma Stone, man. It's worth seeing just for that performance. That kind of dynamic duo alone is worth the price of admission, but the film surrounding it is exceptional. It's been a pretty strong year for filmmakers, like, you know, struggling, anxiously figuring out why the hell people are the way they are anymore and why the world is what it is. Lots of movies that are kind of reacting to the world we live in. This film particularly is tackling misinformation and conspiracy theorists and stuff like that, and the innate tension bottled in within those things, and people kind of being so entrenched in their ideologies and their beliefs. There's just a constant like tightness in your chest as you watch this movie, knowing at any given moment that these people could just explode in the wrong way or say the wrong thing or trigger the wrong thing, and it's just sort of an interesting dissection of the minds that have made it to this place, you know? So massive kudos to the actors for handling all of that. And this film is also just script-wise really bonkers. The cinematography from Robbie Ryan is out of control good, and the music is bombastic. This thing is oddball in all the ways Yorgos movies typically are, but in a way that's very muted and controlled and eerie. Yeah, huge fan of this movie. Next up at number 13, I have No Other Choice. Can't wait to rewatch this movie. I fucking love this movie. I feel like I'm underrating it by putting it here. It's a film about a guy who gets laid off and goes a little nuts. And it's also a film about the weird loyalty that workers have to corporations. A lot of people are pretty happy to grovel at the hands of like the Elon Musks of the world, and that's like a really unsettling thing, and No Other Choice kind of highlights that through the lead character a little bit, but also gives a lot of sympathy to that lead character in understanding that this is somebody that can't fathom a reality where he's not respected for the work he does, fully conscious of the unfairness and the disparity between all of this, and that's what kind of incites this very rampaged reaction. And it's really funny, it's really silly and comical and nuts, but it's actually one of the most powerful films as far as commenting on today's world. It's also filmmaking wise, cinematography wise, editing wise, just like fucking light years ahead of like anything else on the market, because Park Chan-wook is just so filthy with it, bro. So many transitions, and that match, the one with the match. Number 12 is Happy End by Neo Sora, a fantastic movie. Follows a group of teenagers being monitored more and more, and it's sort of a film about clinging onto your childlike individuality or humanity in a world that is really trying to beat it out of you. This film's use of technology and music especially is really, really important. The DJ scenes, they are fucking, they bang hard, but yeah, they really capture the escape and the ability that one has to find themselves through music and art. It's also really funny. It's a really funny movie. Number 11 is Warfare, directed by Ray Mendoza and Alex Garland. Cannot believe people think this is US propaganda. That's crazy to me. That's like insane in my opinion. This is very clearly not that. Like American Sniper, Act of Valor, Hurt Locker, these are films that kind of have Marines being like bros and they're obnoxious and it looks like they're like bantering. I could feasibly see people watching those movies and saying, yeah, let's recruit ourselves. Wow, the Marines are so cool, you know, like that's not what anyone would ever come away from Warfare thinking. I don't understand how people think that. It's weird to me. Very uncomfortable, brutal movie that is really unconcerned with entertaining you and sensationalizing anything you're seeing on screen. This is all very much a conceited effort to depict what happened authentically. It wants to let you know that very much, especially with the kind of misguided credit sequence. But I think what they were trying to say is, yeah, this is what fucking happened. None of these Marines are particularly likable or competent. They very much feel like victims at the hands of higher up government elites, thrusted into a war that should not have happened. It's unjustified. There are lots of innocent casualties. You know, this war caused tens of thousands of innocent people to die. Everyone's freaking out in this movie. It's really, really uncomfortable. The sound design is out of this world good. Criminal that's not going to get any awards nominations this year. It seems like it's just kind of being shut out of those categories. Yeah, I feel like this is exactly what the correct response is. As far as depicting war on film, the correct response is to do it authentically, is to highlight how pointless and dumb this is. That is something that people should confront and reckon with, and I feel like a lot of people saw this and thought, oh, that was pointless. What is this, just propaganda? If it was propaganda, it'd be a lot more fun to watch, I'll tell you that. This is clearly the product of somebody sickened by war and confronting it head on through this film. It was a really, really affecting watch, in my opinion. Now we're in the top 10. Number 10, Friendship. From Andrew DeYoung, starring Tim Robertson and Paul Rudd. Really hilarious comedy, loads of laugh out loud, insane scenarios and quotes that I have been replaying in my head relentlessly ever since I watched this movie. But honestly, this film really understands how awkward it is to make friends. This thing really gets at like a genuine truth that exists, especially in male friendships. Tim Robertson is extremely good at portraying a person who did not learn the right lessons somewhere along the way. He's constantly in this movie observing how people act and are friends and is trying to sort of work it out. There is just this uncomfortable bubble of awkwardness this film like hangs you in all the time that is just an exaggerated version of something I feel like I feel every fucking day when I'm like at work or hanging out with people and I'm sort of trying to gauge things. Like that space is a really real thing that is so beautifully satirically exaggerated in this movie and taken into some of the most batshit nuts like scenarios. Number 9 is Ari Aster's Eddington. This is my favorite Ari Aster movie. It seems like that's a bit of a hot take, but I love this movie because despite how kind of doom and gloom and arguably tone deaf its depictions of things like the George Floyd protests are and the kind of social media canceling outrage, the division, it's all movie-fied a bit in this movie in a way that definitely I could see it rubbing someone the wrong way. It's like this was a miss, bro. But for me, the reason it worked is because all of it very consistently throughout the film felt like something Ari Aster was fighting through himself. Like, this is clearly a film made from a place of worry and panic. Ari Aster's anxious as shit, and that's no surprise. His movies are all pretty anxiety-inducing to some extent, whether it be his horror shit or his last movie, Beau is Afraid. Like, these are all films that are pretty, like, heightened and uncomfortable. But Ari Aster is channeling that energy into a really honest reaction to the world he sees around him in this movie, and that's pretty cathartic. He's not trying to provide the answers at all, I don't think. I think he's just sort of saying, hey, I'm fucking scared. I am fucking scared. And let me just channel that fear into this like Western comedy rump that's really uncomfortable to watch, but at the same time it's also super funny and kind of a blast. Like where this film ends up going in the back half was really entertaining to me. It was very action packed. It was really action packed. I think it's his most like soul bearing film today. I found myself really enthralled and moved by it. This thing's confidence in its shot composition, in its scene construction, in the editing, in the music choices. It's a really stunningly made movie. It's hard not to, tip your hat off to the skill Ari Aster is displaying here. Yeah, it really worked. I think it really, really landed. I loved this movie. Number 8 is Surat. My goodness, this movie goes there, bro. I appreciate a movie that goes there. Places you never really assume a film has the stones to go. Surat goes there. It's a film about a family, particularly a father and son looking for the daughter of the family, and they go into this desert rave. That's like where they heard that she was, I suppose, and through that they process the potential loss of this daughter, and this film is kind of directly in conversation with that plot in a sensory way. This is a really sensorial experience, this film, whether it be the music, the visuals, the pace of it. It's meandering one moment and absolutely like fucking manic the next. Ends up using the medium of film to communicate this idea of like the walls closing in, like not really being able to escape the feelings you might be feeling when it comes to things like loss or grief or your community, I suppose, or feeling like an outsider, things like that. And it resulted in one of the most like transcendent and terrifying watches of the year. This thing is fucking tense, bro. Cheeks were clenched. Cheeks were very clenched. Number 7 is one of the least cheeks clenched. Kind of the opposite situation. The Mastermind by Kelly Reichardt. This is an exceptional movie in my opinion. It's a pretty underrated one. I think a lot of people are struggling with this, and I get why. You are seeing basically the degradation of a self-imposed mastermind trying to pull off a heist, trying to sort of shortcut his way to his idea of success. In doing that, what you're really seeing is the slow motion, pathetic descent into fucking nothing. This film is pitiful. This guy is pitiful. I think Kelly Reichardt's kind of slow, patient, meandering, meditative style allows you to really feel every painful thing about this guy. This guy is in a position where he is the last fucking guy that needs to be doing the shit he's doing in this movie. He's in a pretty good spot. He's pretty privileged, and yet he's convinced he's like deserving of something greater. It's kind of a commentary on how unfulfillment and personal ambition, when you're in a position of privilege and you're living in a place that's not particularly inspiring, maybe it's a little bit dire and kind of gray, these things can culminate into this guy. And that's a scary thing. This thing plays it for a cautionary tale as much as it does for laughs. This thing's quite funny. The film made me think about how this develops into the sense of personal importance in men a lot of the time, particularly with this guy. He's clearly feeling like he belongs somewhere else, or like has to like prove something. There's like a bitterness there, but really it's more about in his mind like the upholding of the image of that importance. Really, you sort of go into the film thinking it's going to be this like cool thing about this guy who does this cool stuff, and you just sort of realize it's the opposite. I think Kelly Reichardt's using her trademark slow style smartly here, in that it knows you're waiting waiting for some kind of payoff moment, but really what you're hit with is a very like shameful and pathetic reality. It's also just ridiculously precise and beautifully shot, like, and scored. I loved the atmosphere of this thing. It's really one of a kind, and I could have sat in this movie for hours. I loved the attention to detail, and I loved that what was happening off screen in this film was in direct dialogue constantly with everything happening on screen, and it all kind of coalesced to build a wider portrait of a broken person. It's like shameful and sad, but also really frustrating and annoying. The fact that this film evoked all of that out of me whilst presenting itself in such a muted and quiet way just really impressed me. It's a style that I couldn't get enough of. I thought this film was excellent. I thought the final shot was a fucking treat too. Number 6 is If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, from Mary Bronstein. Oh my god. This film is fucking crazy. I was not ready for how nuts this film was, for how claustrophobic this film was, the close-up. You know, Mary Bronstein is married to Ronald Bronstein, who co-wrote Marty Supreme and Uncut Gems and worked closely with Josh Safdie. So Josh Safdie was also a producer on this movie. This makes so much sense. It's not quite as like grungy and gritty as a Safdie film, but it has that same level of chaos and just constantly unfolding, you know, madness. But this one's a lot more empathetic, I think. It's got a protagonist that you know is really trying to do good, really trying to do it right, but slowly through that trying grows to kind of hate the world around her. The world around her grows to hate her too. It just becomes this extremely neurotic back and forth, which just cascades into this flurry of bad shit. It's a pretty exhausting watch. It's funny too. The humor is kind of a trap card. I feel like the humor makes you think it's going to be a film that it really isn't. This film kind of knows what you think it is. Rose Byrne in the lead is maybe the best performance of the year. It's definitely an argument. It's one of my absolute favorites of the year. She's incredible in this movie. Absolute 10 out of 10 level of intensity from her nearly the entire way through. What it had to say about motherhood and the panic of being an adult and balancing everything, and how all of that can so easily on a dime just completely make a person go insane, was weirdly cathartic and refreshing. Found the ending really bittersweet, really haunting. This thing's a real tirade, and it's an affecting one. Amazing supporting cast too. A$AP Rocky, Conan O'Brien, Christian Slater, all putting in tremendous work. I loved this movie. Number 5 now. Number 5 is a tricky one. It's one I feel like I should put at like number 1. One Battle After Another by Paul Thomas Anderson. I've seen the film 3 times now. Wow, man. Fucking miracle of a movie. Paul Thomas Anderson has been like one of my top like 3, maybe even top 2 directors of all time for a little while now, and this is like a double album from like the best artists working at the top of their game. It's like a long, sprawling epic. Script is electric, unfolding in unpredictable, exciting ways, constantly, always chucking insane scenarios and jokes at you that it's weird that anyone even thought of them to begin with. Oh, mommy. Sean Penn, bro. Sean Penn's that whole character, the entire existence of that character is a testament to everything I'm saying. Is just so playful. It feels like this is Paul Thomas Anderson operating on a level of confidence I've just never seen from him. He's just having a load of fun with this movie. But at the same time, this film does have a lot to say. It's one of the most hopeful films of the year. You know, in a year filled with films that are reacting very negatively and anxiously to the world at large right now, this film is a breath of fresh air because it has characters that you could really perceive as heroes, as people that really are determined to carry the torch and build a better world for tomorrow. Very much as the title implies, you know, like these things that we want to see happen, it's a constant battle. It's a never-ending cycle of fighting for it, but there's no chance of it ever happening if we don't fight for it. I really love how successfully this film got across that kind of notion and, you know, that sort of spirit. It's also just full of moments that make me very happy. Fucking Mexican hairless, bro. Like, literally everything to do with the Christmas Adventurers. It looks like there's going to be a nugget shortage. Graped in reverse. Oh my god. How is this film real? Number 4 is Urchin, directed by Harris Dickinson. This film hit me hard, man. This film really moved me. I saw it twice. This character is extremely challenging and unlikable in many ways, but also a victim of context, and the film makes that extremely clear at every given moment. You're never like separated at any point from the context this character is sort of stuck in. What really moved me about this character are the scenes where he's kind of forced to confront that he is the reason he's in his position. It's not necessarily entirely his doing, you know, you do feel pity for him, that the support systems surrounding him aren't strong enough to get him out of this situation, but you are aware as you continue watching the movie his inability to kind of confront the fuck up inside of him. There's like a shame there that he can't face, and those are the scenes in this film that really hit me like in a very strong, emotionally resonant way. There are so many moments in the film where somebody tries to tell him what they believe he really needs to hear, but in the mind of Mike, the lead character, it doesn't really register as advice. It registers as like, you're just reminding me of how much I'm, failing. That is the barrier that stops him from really enacting the changes that he needs to make. It's such a painfully real thing, a product of ego, hierarchy, power, money, like just the way these things kind of rule us. Urchin is a really honest, empathetic exploration of one of the more miserable outcomes of that reality. It's not a film that necessarily has the answers per se, but it understands why this problem exists, and it feels that it really has to do something about it. It was lovely to see a film that really reached out of the screen and put its foot down. Frank Delane's performance in this film truly, man, choked me the fuck up, bro. It's the most a single performance has evoked something out of me. This is a fantastic debut. We're in the big three now. These three are like the shared number one. I love these three a lot. I wish I could give them all like movie of the century, but it being a list, the general format of the list means that there can only be one number one, so we got to put them in an order. But I think these three are just very special movies, and they really move me a lot this year. Number 3 is Eva Victor's Sorry Baby. This film has got to be one of the most tender and moving portrayals of agony, trauma, healing I've seen this year. It's about a lady named Agnes who goes through something traumatic and is basically spending the movie dealing with that or living with that, discovering what life is after that and how fundamentally different it is. One of the main things I take away from this film is that healing, it's not really something you heal from. It's something you live with. You find a way to persevere, even when it feels impossible and insurmountable. Everything that is spoken in this film, everything that is shown to you is funneled through Eva Victor's very specific vision. This movie is her brainchild. She wrote the film, starred in the film as the lead actor, and directed the film. And everything that she says in the movie feels like something that she would think or she would say, and it just has this authenticity to it that feels so distinct and rare. A lot of the time, the things she thinks and says are inappropriate. Sometimes your brain blurts out fucked up shit when it comes to dealing with pain. You want to just sort of distract yourself, and that's kind of how the comedy comes off to me, as like a maybe defense mechanism or something, and like a coping thing. And it was those like kind of awkward, jokey bits that reminded me at every turn that we're dealing with an extremely honest film here. Like, this is a really like transparent and beautiful movie about how when going through something that is really going to damage you forever, regardless of what the bad thing is, you're stuck in that place. Whether you like it or not, that is where you are, and the people around you might try and help, they might try and say the right thing, but ultimately that place, sometimes it's all encompassing. And I think this film is, through that, doing its best to give anybody dealing with something similar like that one reminder that it's still worth trying and carrying on. Like, this film God, this film is so fucking beautiful, man. I love this movie to death. I think this film understood how these things can just disconnect you from the surrounding world. Your ability to engage with what is around you is innately distorted. Once you are on the other side of trauma, there's a scene near the end where Agnes's friend's partner comes over and she clearly doesn't really understand Agnes. Maybe doesn't really like Agnes. And I could see a lot of people seeing this film the same way. Like, they might just feel like, I'm not sure if this is my vibe. Like, they kind of might feel a bit standoffish or give it like a few looks. Like, this film is just a little uncomfortable and weird because the personality and humor of this film is really unique and off-putting at points. But for the person it is for the person that does love Agnes is a precious treasure of a human being, and that's what this film is to me. It's a precious treasure. Love the music in this movie too. Really, really wonderful score. And that brings us to number 2, talking about precious treasures, man. My second favorite film of 2000. I fucking hate that this is not number 1. I wish 1 and 2 could. I wish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 could all be number 1. Okay, it's fucking difficult. Number 2 is Sentimental Value by Joachim. I think it's Joachim, not Joachim. Joachim Trier. This is a film that ripped my damn heart out. I love this movie. I think it's a masterpiece. It's a story about a dysfunctional family of sorts, I guess. It's also a film about art and how art can disguise these family wounds, I suppose. We have a film director, Stellan Skarsgård, the father, who uses his children as art in a way through his films, maybe kind of deals with his baggage that way. He's not really exactly an open book, and I think he's developed a bit of a narcissism problem, and through that he's carried down a lot of pain to his children who don't really respect him, and they have their own kind of baggage as well. These things all get kind of brought up in the wake of a new film that he wants to make, where he wants to cast his daughter. His daughter gets replaced with Elle Fanning's character. We're not taught how to deal with all of these things, the kind of family wounds that pop up through just what we thought was right at the time, what we don't really, people don't understand these things sometimes, parenting or confronting parents, or this is the parts of life that get difficult to navigate. And that's the thing I think sentimental value understands most of all, is that you can put on a face. In the case of Nora Renzve's character, you know, it's performance. She's an actress. She's got that kind of outlet. But when it comes to family, for whatever fucking reason, that mask, that ability to keep it moving, it shatters. It just shatters. You kind of fold. Gustav, Stellan Skarsgård's character, the father, he's like the one person where Nora can't just bullshit her way through. You know, there's that just drama, that wound is so unignorable. Sentimental Value, above any other movie I've ever seen, gets how that fucking feels, bro. And it really, really hit me in the fucking heart, man. Like the ending of this film, wow! It is a killer. It is incredible, man. The more I've thought about the ending, that is a masterstroke of screenwriting, dude. Holy shit. The mistakes that have been made are deeply entrenched in the people we are sometimes, and you know, that those mistakes can happen again. It's an extremely difficult thing to open yourself to receiving or making those same mistakes again. But to do that is the only way there can ever be any hope of making it any easier. And I think that's kind of the sentiment I left this film with, and it fucking destroyed me. I truly love this movie a lot. I think it is an absolute masterpiece. Really excited to watch it again. But it's not my number one. My favorite movie of the year, a little movie called Marty Supreme, directed by Josh Safdie. This movie fucking rules, bro. Might be the first time in history, in my life, where my most anticipated movie of the year actually ended up being my film of the year. That normally isn't the case. You know, normally whatever ends up topping my list at the end of the year is a movie that I had no idea existed at the beginning of the year. Whereas Marty Supreme, I was aware of its existence from the moment it got announced, and I was desperate to see it as soon as I knew of its existence, because look at the personnel. You got Timothée Chalamet in the lead. You got Josh Safdie directing it. You got Tyler, the Creator, in the supporting cast. You got Oneohtrix Point Never doing the music. Like, there are so many things just innately right off the bat that are just directly catered to me specifically. So I'm like, yeah, show me that. I'm gonna love this. There's no reality where I don't fucking love this. But then it came out, and it's like when To Pimp a Butterfly came out. These guys are all in it and doing their thing, but they're not just doing their thing. They're operating on the top of their fucking game with a confidence level that is actually like impossible to conceive. Like the level of obsessive control on display at every moment in this movie for the entire 2.5 hours is nothing short of miraculous. I can't believe how deft and not messy at all this film ends up being, despite how like stuffed it is. It's an extremely confident movie, and yeah, there's few things in this world more fulfilling than seeing one of your favorite artists, creators, just absolutely flourish at their craft and reach that potential that you've been saying for years that they have. I love this shit so damn much. Like as just like a thematic like character study, this film has like a lot to think about. You know, this film could very easily have been a pretty cut and dry, beat for beat, guys on a mission, blah blah blah, he does his thing, and that's the movie, and then you leave and it's like, that was fun. But this movie actually sticks in your head. It lingers with you because there's just enough unspoken shit, enough room for interpretation in that final shot, especially that there's like conversations to be had here about the motivations behind these characters, about the justifications for what was going on, about why somebody has this idea that blossoms and becomes this really hurtful, cruel thing. And like all Marty does in this movie is take and take and take, and it just becomes a question of how one can become this way, you know, like what is the surrounding world that allows a Marty Mauser to be born? The American dream, money and excess, and this unachievable, untangible goal that Marty is fighting for. Why is that like a dream and aspiration to begin with? And he's surrounded by a world that immediately you get on their property, they get out a gun. There's hustlers and mob bosses just like next door anywhere you go in Marty Supreme, you know, and this movie is visualizing a world that one must get out of. So you understand why Marty Mauser feels this complete desperation to get me the fuck. I don't care who I step on, whose lives I ruin, I can't be here. He might not be a very relatable human being in his actions, but that notion, that spirit is one that you can understand, and that allows this film to reach, to me, a higher peak of euphoric excitement than any previous Safdie film has had, because without ever really explicitly communicating it to you as a viewer, it's very clear at every given moment why Marty Mauser exists. I've been having an amazing time just thinking about the film and just my reading of its plot and how ping pong, the sport itself, is a fucking dude. Obviously, the general conceit of the movie being about this human being and how he's built this idea and narcissism, he's on this path. Like, the fact that it's ping pong, you'd think it could be interchangeable for anything. You know, it's about the guy, it's not about the sport. But no, ping pong is actually thematically, again, a really perfect representation of what Marty is in this movie and what he's emblematic of. His opposition in the film, Endo, as well, being somebody who actually loves ping pong. He's a humble craftsman, as the movie puts it. And he's somebody that does this not because he wants to prove anything, because he loves ping pong. He represents, like, wrangling a mastery over something that has very little in the way of predictability, whereas Marty represents somebody trying to exploit that unpredictability for his own gain, to shortcut and force his way into that top spot. That duality, I think, is a really interesting dynamic as well. But anyway, beyond all of the thematics and thought-provoking elements of the film that I really enjoy, the actual ride and the playground on display in this movie is so fucking amazing. Like, this is an incredible script that bounces so naturally off of the last scene at every given moment. The intimate, grainy cinematography, you feel so close to it. It's like you're in the room sometimes, you know? The people yelling over each other and the individuality you're seeing from everybody on screen. Like, oh my god, that scene with Dion and Rachel and Marty, and it's his kid, by the way. This film is a damn playground. Like, what other fucking movie out here is delivering something this just, like, confidently, unrelentingly manic and exciting to watch? Like, this thing is not giving you a second to breathe. Every moment of this movie is entertaining. I'm so glad this shit is 2.5 hours, bro. Like, I'm really grateful. It's just, you're just in that world for, like, a wonderful amount of time. This thing is a whole ass meal of a movie. And then you got the soundtrack, bro. One of Drake's point, never the needle drops. Oh my god, bro, that fucking, this is what you want, this is what you get. Fucking goosebumps, man. That shit goes so hard. The edit is so damn clean, bro. That New Order needle drop with that montage as well. Like, the way it kind of almost incorporates a bit of humor and satire in the ugliness. This film is kind of satirical a little bit. Like, subtly, you know? Like, not the Marty Supreme Boss, the Marty normal boss. The way Marty Mauser walks after his loss with Endo, and he's just doing this little, like, this little strut. There's a pout that Timothée Chalamet hits whenever he talks to Rockwell. Amazing performance, by the way. Fucking amazing performance. He hits this pout whenever he talks to Rockwell. That, like, when he goes, like, it's just my reputation. People don't get second chances. Why not? Like, he gets this, like, stroppy little boy attitude whenever he talks to Rockwell. He's, like, groveling at his feet because he represents this kind of CEO evil narcissist that maybe Marty's aspiring to be. Bro, the fucking, when he throws out the balls, that being a symbol for, like, I believed in you. I put my money down to make these balls because I really believed in your dream, and now you're calling my drawings doodles. I'm just gonna throw your balls out the window. Like, bro! The little details in all the characters, like, every little action they do, every little gesture, like, it actually does build a vivid idea of the person. Like, this is an obsessive level of detail. And then you have the extras and the casting and how authentic it looks to the 1950s period. I truly cannot believe this movie. Like, I think this movie is operating on such a special level, and it makes me so happy that a film this obsessively made has been such a huge moment, you know, like with the marketing campaign with Chalamet. Like, there were so many people who were saying, like, oh, I don't know anything about this movie, it's like some ping pong movie, but I'm gonna go check it out. And it's caused this, like, this big hype train, and now it's joining the likes of Sinners and One Battle After Another as one of the most special, like, big moments in movies this year. And of course, you're going to get people that maybe they don't see the hype or they struggle to sort of feel that same energy. But for me, the level of skill on display here on every level, from performance, script, thematics, the pacing, the edit, the musical cues. Josh Safdie, I'm stunned. I'm really impressed, D. This movie is so fucking feelable. You feel it in your damn bones, bro. I've seen the film 4 times. I'm probably going to see it 4 more times, motherfucker. Josh Safdie's style of filmmaking has always very innately appealed to what I like already. To see him operating so damn confidently on this level, it's exhilarating. I can't get enough of it. I love this shit, bro. Looking at the film even more broadly too, I think there's a lot this film is saying about adulthood and parenthood. A lot of the people around us that are miserable and remind us of how desperately we want to climb out of this hole and achieve our dreams, they were people with dreams too, but then they just became an adult. They got a job, they settled down, they had kids. And with the film being so committed to showing you everything and making you feel everything through this perspective, through Marty Mauser very specifically, you get a really intimate interrogation of how that feels to live with in the last act of the film. I think that's just a really cutting and impactful way to wrap up a film that you feel like should have some kind of big hurrah, or sort of setting itself up to be that way or presenting itself that way, but there's a real guttural truth in this film's final moments that absolutely stings. This is a film built in a lab for fucking me, bro, so damn right I'm gonna enjoy this shit. This is my favorite film of the year. I mean, it would just be disingenuous to say otherwise. As much as I love all these other movies in this list, my supreme is the one, bro. This movie just fucking sticks the landing. Even the shit that doesn't even matter. I'm gonna step up in a way you can't even imagine. She's gonna have an elevator in her house and a guy that works for the elevator. Like just the little fucking detail, like just the character, just the character and passion and spark happening everywhere in this movie. So that's my top 25 list done, but we're not actually finished there. We have some awards to hand out. I'm gonna do my own little award show. Like I was gonna make it its own video, but there's only so much fucking time, bro. We're gonna do it here. The Vale Awards, the vale-smith Oscars, these are my awards for the year. The nominees for best scene of 2025 are Gladys visits Marcus in Weapons, you know, when she comes to the house and they're eating hot dogs. That scene was nuts. Marty versus Endo in Mighty Supreme. When that bass comes in, bow no no. Bow no no. The one with the bad thing from Sorry Baby. Pretty big heartbreaker right there. What time is it from One Battle After Another, the whole stretch of movie where Leo is trying to answer that question. And the minefield in Surratt. Cheeks were fucking clenched, man, I'm telling you. The winner, it's What Time Is It? One Battle. Are you kidding me? That whole stretch, that is the best individual scene of any film this year. When he immediately breaks down crying after getting back on the phone with him. Time doesn't exist, but it controls us anyway. Valid fucking crash out. The nominees for best villain of the year are Gladys in Weapons, Kenneth Marshall in Mickey 17, wonderful performance from Mark Ruffalo, Matthew from Lurker, terrifying cunt right there, Remick in Sinners, and Stephen J. Lockjaw in One Battle After Another. The winner, Stephen J. Lockjaw. Oh, I'm sorry, Stephen. Are you kidding me? Daddy Daughter Games. Daddy Daughter Games. Biggest laugh of the year, funniest moment, if you will, when Hank one-punch KOs Pavel in Caught Stealing after all that build-up, and he's just such a nut job, that guy, and Hank just fucking decks him. It's pretty funny. Well, I think you're a cunt from Pillion. Uproarious laughter in London Film Festival. Hi, prick! From One Battle After Another, definitely a contender. Lockjaw's defective dynamite dolphin jet ski from One Battle, also big laugh. That frog ripped me off. From Friendship, the Star Wars joke in Wake Up Dead Man where Darren McCormick's like, yeah, we're gonna be like the rebels, you know. Yeah, that was funny. And then Gustav's Christmas gifts from Sentimental Value. The winner for me is Gustav's Christmas. That was fucking great. I'm sorry. Cinephile ass joke. It's funny because I clocked the DVD cover a smidge before it got like revealed. Like I saw the color, the yellow, and then it got like revealed and the cinema went crazy. It was great to see that joke happen at London Film Festival where the whole room is full of fucking movie geeks. The best shot of the year, Joe Cross running for mayor in Eddington, the shot where he's on Instagram, it's like his Facebook post, and he's announcing that he's running for mayor, and you're seeing it through the screen that Emma Stone's watching. I loved that shot, just sort of highlighting the way the information is spreading and the way it's imprinting on people and just the kind of audaciousness of that moment. You know, yeah, it was a really lovely shot. I love the shot in Sorry Baby where it snaps to nighttime. That moment got in my fucking stomach. That was really, really good. Sammy Moore time travels via music in Sinners. I mean, it's more of like a scene, I guess, but yeah, like that kind of sweeping shot is pretty fucking awesome. Marty sees his future. The final shot of Mighty Supreme. Really, really haunting. When I have a new interpretation on what he's thinking every time I watch it. Nora and Agnes confiding in each other and said, oh my god, one of the most aching hugs I've ever seen on screen right there. The car chase in One Battle, I mean, you kidding me? The shot of the, yeah, that's one of the most creative ways I've ever seen a car chase depicted on screen. It's fucking insane. Like, how in 2025 are we finding new ways to show a car chase that's so inventive, and it's so in line with the personality of the film as well. And the last nomination is Mooney running to the police in The Mastermind, the final shot of the Mastermind where the police just stop him and it's over. Perfectly pinning down like the goofiness of the movie, the inevitability of the movie. It's just the personality of the film just feels so on display in that final moment. But the winner, best shot of the year for me out of these nominees, I'm giving it to Sorry Baby. That snap to nighttime. Yeah, the way your mind immediately starts filling in gaps. I guess that's like best edit of the year, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't really count to say best shot, but when I just think of the shot of the year, that's just the image I immediately think of. So I'm going to give it to that. You feel like very confronted by that shot. Like you kind of feel awkward in the room. Like when I was in the cinema watching it, I was like, fuck. You know, I know some friends who like whenever people like kiss on screen, they're like start like giggling uncomfortably because it's like we're all in the room watching like a sex scene. I kind of felt like that. In a more like, you know, sad way though, obviously. Best conversation of 2025. Mark asking for in the smashing machine. That was a very awkward conversation. It was like eerie, one of those ones you can't help but look in closer. It's like, oh, it was really well acted. That was a really good scene. Agnes and Gavin in the bathtub and Sorry Baby. I love that conversation because Gavin, you know, he's clearly like a good, kind soul, but he is very oblivious to what Agnes is going through, and you can feel Agnes, you know, even in the comfort of this person she fully trusts, she is still kind of just surrounded, you know, very wonderfully accentuating that point of like trauma just not really ever quite leaving you. Mike and Simon get closure in Urchin, where Simon kind of tries to, you know, reconcile with Mike, explain what he went through, and that conversation is really interesting because Simon spends the whole conversation talking about how much it negatively affected his life, their altercation, how much it kind of, you know, scared him and blah blah blah, and all Mike is able to hear from that, like, you can tell he's just thinking like, fuck off man, like shut up. He's just feeling like I know I've fucking made things hard for you, I've made your life scarier, and like instead of apologizing he can't face it, and it's a moment that highlights so much of what I think works about Urchin. The Christmas Adventurers recruiting Lockjaw. Oh my god. What is it he says? Douglas from Chair Company. What the fuck? He says like, our goal is to get rid of haters, losers, and punk trash. Some shit like that. I forget exactly what he said. Amazing delivery. Judd and Louise on the phone. Unbelievable tone management in that scene, man. From Wake Up Dead Man. Sorry if I didn't mention. It's really funny. He can't get off the phone and she's hanging on the phone, but then you learn that the reason she's hanging on the phone is because she is going through a real crisis of faith, and Judd just becomes like the goat priest and does his job, and he feels proud. It's such a beautiful conversation. It starts off so goofy. And lastly, I gotta give one shout to Marty Supreme. It's gotta be Marty Mauser and Rockwell first meeting. That conversation's so fucking good, man. Where would we be without pens? When he laughs and I get nervous left. I'm about to drop a third fucking atom bomb on their head. Oh my god, that conversation's gold. And it then leads to the Holocaust honey scene, which is a fan favorite from what I've seen. I think the winner is gonna have to go to One Battle After Another though, for the Christmas Adventure, because that scene is really funny, but the acting from Sean Penn makes that transcends that scene. The way he has this like admiration for them, and the way he's like shaking the hand and doing this, I will sir. The little mannerisms make that scene like magnetic to watch, man. It sets in motion so many of the motivations throughout the film as well. I love that scene. I love the way it's shot too. Best lead character of the year. We got Mike from Urchin. We got Teddy from Burgonia. Mickey Barnes from Mickey 17. Sammy Moore from Sinners. I'm sorry. I just want to say, am I tripping when I say that Sammy Moore is the main fucking character of Sinners, not Smoke and Stack? Smoke and Stack are like a big perspective we see the film through for sure, but I feel like the majority of this film is channeled through Sammy. Miles should be in the lead actor category this year. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, bro. Yu-Man Su from No Other Choice, fantastic protagonist. Judd Duplessis from Wake Up Dead Man, Josh O'Connor's character. Agnes from Sorry Baby, Bob Ferguson from One Battle After Another, and Marty Mauser from Marty Supreme. The winner, it's gotta be Marty Mauser. I'm sorry, it's gotta be Marty Mauser. It's the whole fucking reason Marty Supreme works. Throughout the film, you're constantly flipping on where you stand with him, but he's undeniably entertaining and charismatic and fun to watch. Like, he's just a very iconic lead character. It feels like this year's Honora in a way. Chaotic, problematic, broken, fascinating, entertaining as hell. That's what it's all about, bro. That's what the movies are all fucking about. Best supporting character of the year. We got Russ from Caught Stealing, Matt Smith's character. Kind of hard to take your eyes off him, bro. Bjorn Lund from The Phoenician Scheme, which is Michael Cera's character, one of the funniest characters of the year. I've got two Jameses. I got James from Weapons and James from If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Willa Ferguson from One Battle After Another, because let's be real, why is she in the lead category? She's like clearly a support, whatever. And Don from Burgonia. The winner? I'm giving it to Don from Burgonia, actually. I think he's the best supporting character of the year. Very innocent in what is a pretty nightmare situation for anyone. Him being there allows you to very clearly see the cruelty and the evil at the center of Burgonia. And he's also responsible for the biggest moment I had literally all year. Best song from an original score this year. We're looking at the score and we're picking a song from the score. Daniel Lopatin's The Real Game from Mighty Supreme, the song that plays during the second match with Endo. Johnny Greenwood's main theme for one battle after another. Every time that piano crept in, it was chills, man. Miles Caton and Ludwig Göransson with I Lied to You from Sinners. That would definitely win if it was like best use of a song in a movie. We're looking at purely just the song. Kang Ding Ray with Surat from Surat. That is a actual like deep house banger, bro. And lastly, Leah Uyang Rusli with Sorry Baby from Sorry Baby. A lot of title tracks going on here. I really want to give this to Sorry Baby because that piano line is really, really pretty and painful, but I think the honest answer is, for me, The Real Game, Daniel Lopez. I'm a little biased though. I love One of Chicks Point Never and his fucking sound design, but yeah, that shit goes so crazy. When that arpeggio comes in and it actually kind of sounds like it's mimicking the ping pong ball. The best needle drop of the year, best use of, you know, a popular song in a movie. There's been a few really good ones. We got Dirty Work by Steely Dan from One Battle After Another. My mum was singing her heart out while that was on when we watched it on Boxing Day. It was lovely to see. Really great song. There's so many from Mighty Supreme I could choose, but I'm going to go with Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears. It feels like kind of a basic choice. At the same time, it's like, that doesn't matter. There's no other song that would fit better. Beware of Darkness by George Harrison at the beginning of Weapons, when you're watching the kids run into the night and the narration, absolutely haunting. Really, really powerful needle drop. Canuck Chase by Labi Siffre, the ending of Sentimental Value, Tears to My Damn Eyes, Dancing in Blood by Low in Warfare, that's the credits music, and White Picket Fence by Corliss in Urchin, a really wonderful scene in Urchin where he's watching like an interpretive dancer, and this song is what they chose to soundtrack it, which I thought really worked because it's such a chaotic and formless track. But my favorite needle drop is gonna go to Weapons. I think that Beware of Darkness needle drop to Weapons is so fucking good. Just sets the tone so good, that mystery, that eeriness, it just courses through you the moment you hear those chords. Best poster of the year, best movie poster. I loved the Begonia poster, all of the Yorgos posters, the font choice, the colors, the splashiness of it, really fucking cool. They always deliver. The Weapons poster is pretty damn fire too. The night sky with the shadow of the kids, really, really cool. Love the text as well. The dark red Weapons looks fantastic. Hamnet's poster I really like. The Masterminds poster is class as well. It's kind of representing the guy pretty nicely. It looks very intentional and methodical, but it's highlighting a guy who's just like pretending to look that way. Eddington's poster, the one with the rams falling down the cliff, is pretty fire, you know. I mean, very, very cynical, but yeah, it lands. It looks cool. And Pillion, particularly this poster, looks so good with the dog and the blue text. Shit looks amazing. But my favorite poster of the year, I'm gonna say Weapons. The Weapons poster feels really instantly iconic. Like I can immediately see that on people's walls in their bedrooms. Like that's such a fucking good image, man. That is a good poster. And lastly, best ending of the year. We're ending the video on best ending of the year, just like I did for the games video. Got If I Had Legs I'd Kick You. Amazing final shot here, very haunting. One Battle After Another has a great ending, has a really hopeful, inspiring, invigorating ending. 28 years later has an extremely ballsy ending, but I think it really works. The Mastermind, again, an ending that just made me smile a lot and just represents the personality of that film really nicely. My Supreme's ending, incredibly strong and allows for so much conversation about the movie to continue thriving. It Was Just an Accident has such a good fucking ending. I cannot believe that is not winning. The winner is Sentimental Value. I can't give it to anything else. I've talked about that already in this video. That ending rocked my shit, man. It rocked my shit. But It Was Just an Accident probably wins like final shot of the year. I'll give it that. That is an amazing final shot. And there you go. Movies 2025 wrapped up. There it is. What's the worst movie I saw this year? Parthenope was the worst movie, or Life of Chuck. Both were insufferable. Hope you enjoyed my video. Love you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, hit the like, comment, do whatever you got to do. Most importantly, you enjoy yourself, enjoy your day, and yeah, keep in touch. More videos coming soon. Peace.